Riley, congratulations on the non-loss in 2012 to Notre Dame. What does this mean to you?
You know, I can tell you it just means so much of really nothing. It's like, you know, it's like the old adage, "A tie's like kissing your sister." It kind of feels like that. It's some of the sting is gone, but at the same time, unfortunately, all the memories and pain of having that game in our hands, leading for 3/4 of the way, and then, you know, losing it down the stretch. I don't know if this heals that at all.
Does it? I would imagine that there's plays people will bring up to you. How often is the pass to Cody Hoffman in that game brought up? Because if it is brought up a whole lot, you can say, "Hey, never even happened."
Yeah, it's brought up. I mean, quite a bit, mostly by diehards. You know, the casual fans have forgotten, and quite honestly, the casual fans were like looking back on it. They're like, "Wow, they were top 5, and we were right there with them." And all those coach fans are like, "Oh yeah, great, thanks for the reminder that season, you know, similar to the one to Taysom's senior year a couple of years ago, was just a string of losses by less than a field goal, and one where he had every chance to win the game." But that play still comes up by diehards, but it was what it was. You know, I must admit, I take solace. I see that at least a couple times every year in the NFL where the same thing kind of happens. The receiver breaks one way, the quarterback has another idea, and the ball falls incomplete in a big spot. So, given that seeing the pros do it, it doesn't hurt any less, but at least it's at least a little bit of misery loves company.
Riley Nelson is on BYU Sports Nation. Boney Fuller had some fun with that yesterday. Tweeted, "Great news. Turns out Riley Nelson actually hit Cody Hoffman in stride, and we won easily." Your reaction?
You know, I've explained this multiple times. It's a tough deal. It was a scramble drill. He took off down the field. I saw him settling in the zone. Their pass rush had been after us all night, and so I was a little bit jittery. So rather than clearing the pocket and taking some time to kind of verify, the second I had a window to throw, I let the ball fly where I assumed Cody would be. Cody, you know, as we had completed many times before, and we did times after, that when I break the pocket, he breaks deep, and I throw it up to him. You know, did what we usually do, and you know, it's a great memory. Honestly, it's become one of those things that we were in there, a team that competed for the national championship this year. We had our shot, and unfortunately, that one punch didn't land. There were other punches in that game that we did land, and they landed some good punches against us. And we came out on the wrong end of that scorecard. But that's what happens when you go out and compete, and it's become one of those things where I was just grateful to have a shot to go play a good team in a big time situation like that.
Well, frankly, Notre Dame's excited that season is off the books after that national championship game against Alabama. That's good. That's gone.
Yeah,
if I was them, I'd be like, sweet.
Exactly. People will try and sweep that under the rug as quick as possible. We weren't the only team that had some close losses. You know, they almost lost to Boston College there. They kind of snuck their way back. I mean, obviously it was due to the fact that their guys weren't having to go to class and they were getting their homework submitted. You know, those guys rotated 8 defensive linemen that just wore. We lost 2 offensive linemen, 2 starting offensive linemen in the course of that game. They were cycling 8 through, so that pass rush was as relentless and fresh as possible. I don't know who those players were that were having their homework done for them, but, you know, the D linemen aren't the most academically inclined of players out there. So I bet even if they were down to 5 or 6, we have a better shot in that game and maybe get it done. But anyway, it's fun memories.
Riley, we did want to ask you about this upcoming season's quarterback situation. The QB room's pretty packed right now. We've got Tanner Mangum, Bo Hodge, Joe Critchlow, Cody Wilstead, Zach Wilson, Stacey Connor. Jaron Hall will join the group coming up this fall. What's your overall take on having that many guys vying for the quarterback position? And, I mean, I know it's very early, but, I mean, any leader in the clubhouse, in your opinion?
So you guys, maybe not for this year. When you sent me over that list, I counted 8 quarterbacks. And who's the most famous one-time 8-string quarterback in all of BYU history?
Steve Young.
Steve Young, right? So whoever's listed 8 should, even though they might not get playing time this year, should be very encouraged about their future if history repeats itself. But no, I'm super excited. I spent some time with those 2 freshmen. I think obviously you got guys like Tanner and Bo and these guys that are not done. They've had a taste of what it's been to be the man, and they want that back, and they're hungry to reestablish themselves. But also spent some time I was at the signing day event and spent some time with Zach and Stacy, and those guys are impressive guys. I think Stacy, just got a ton of potential, but he's kind of a beanpole. I don't know if his body's as ready. Zach's, ready to compete right now, and they both have a bunch of competitive fire to come in. They're not gonna relinquish the job to anyone easily. So the guys at the top or the incumbents trying to unseat them. And to be quite honest, Taysom played a couple of games my senior year, and he was the heir apparent, and then Tanner was the heir apparent to Taysom. I like the uncertainty. It reminds me similar to my experience when Jake came in, and there was a fierce battle that didn't only last that one season. It kind of played itself out over the next 2 seasons in trying to replace Max Hall. But being a part of that made me so much better of a player. It raised the level of expectation and the level of play of the quarterback position at BYU. And so while it's not the most pleasant thing to be involved in it as a player, it is the best, in my opinion, it's the best thing for each and every one of those quarterbacks, and it will ultimately raise the level of QB play at BYU for this upcoming and the seasons to follow.
Well, Riley, we appreciate the time. Congratulations on the non-losses in 2012 and 13, and have a good Valentine's Day, dude.
Thanks, fellas. Always enjoy your work, and you guys have a great Valentine's Day as well.
Thanks, Riley.
Thanks, Riley.
That's Riley Nelson on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline.